Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 7:07 p.m. on Friday, August 10, 2023. And I want to give a review of a movie that I saw yesterday, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. But I'm going to save that to the end because I want to show you the latest stuff that I got. Um, Found this DVD at Dollar Tree. Super Miss, Teacher by Day, Hero by Night. I don't know, it looks cute. 84 minutes long. So, you know, an elementary school teacher that turns into super miss. And there's like animals, and yeah, she has to save like a zoo full of animals. It looks cute, so why not? uh, the original Highlander on Blu-ray. I have the DVD already, so this is the Blu-ray edition. It's the director's cut, 30th anniversary edition. So that's cool. Now I want to. Okay, about special features here. Well, okay, first of all, my Walmart receipt or the Walmart product description says Blu-ray plus digital copy. I don't know if there's a digital copy in here or not, but the Blu-ray doesn't mention it. But anyway, the special features: the making of Highlander, deleted scenes. There's a bunch of deleted scenes from this movie. Some I think don't even exist any longer. There's like only stills of those deleted scenes. I'd be surprised if there's any deleted scenes on here that I haven't seen before. Interviews with director Russell Mulcahy and actor Christopher Lambert. And then archival interview with actor Christopher Lambert. So maybe something from back in the day, or maybe it's an old interview from the DVD. I don't remember. I don't know. But anyway, audio commentary by director Russell Mulcahy. That's interesting because, as I recall, the DVD audio commentary had it had an interview with Russell Mulcahy, not an interview, a commentary with Russell Mulcahy and someone else. I forget who at the moment. So I'm wondering if this is a new audio commentary. I don't know. And the trailer. Okay. So this is the regular cover, and this is like a bunch of movies had these special themed covers for some reason, or they all look like rather similar. I'm not sure why they do this, except maybe to try to get people to buy multiple copies of the same movie. I don't know. Hey, Donald, thanks for joining me. And we got Barbie 4-movie special collection. These are the films in the the current continuity, the Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures and stuff like that, and its sequel series Barbie It Takes Two. Now here's the thing: it's got the Barbie Big City Big Dreams movie that kicks off the It Takes Two portion of the current continuity. That's where Barbie meets someone else from New York City, also named Barbie. So I already have that movie actually, but I don't have the rest of them. Barbie Dreamtopia, which I think takes place. I'm not sure when all this takes place in relation to each other. Oh, this one's from 2016, so it might be from before the Dreamhouse Adventures continuity. I'm not sure. Barbie and Chelsea: A Lost Birthday. That is in the current continuity. I've already seen it on streaming, but I don't have a physical copy, so yay. And Barbie Princess Adventure. This takes place after the Dreamhouse Adventures TV series, but before Big City, Big Dreams. And then I already saw it on streaming also. And after Big City, Big Dreams is the Barbie It Takes Two continuity. Not continuity, it's the same continuity, but the TV series. And like, I think there's a movie between seasons 1 and 2 of It Takes Two, but that's not on here. But anyway, it seemed like a convenient way to get all of these, so why not? It's like 3 hours and 57 minutes long. So, yeah. And finally, I found this, and I had to get it. I don't know if I ever saw this back in the day. Probably not. I might have heard of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it. My Best Friend is a Vampire. This movie is from 1988, and apparently this is the first time it's on Blu-ray. And I don't think I've ever seen it. But when I saw one of the credited actors here, I had to get it because Cheryl Pollack has second billing in this movie, and that's her right here. And you can also see her right here on the back. Now, who's Cheryl Pollack? She's an actor that I've actually known for quite a while. Not personally, honestly, but I remember seeing a TV movie back in the 90s. I'm not sure exactly when, but there was the Marla Hanson story. She played Marla Hanson, a real model whose face had been disfigured. Like someone held her down on a New York City subway and cut her face with a razor blade to destroy her modeling career. True story. So Cheryl played Marla Hanson, and I recognized Dale Midkiff from the movie, and I already knew him as Jerry and Lambert from the TV series Time Tracks. So I must have seen this movie, even though it came out in 91, I must have seen it in like 93 or later. I also recognized Cheryl from an episode of Quantum Leap called Raped, which was also from 1991. That's a very emotional episode. It's very difficult to watch, but she did such a great job in that episode. I probably saw that after the Marla Hanson story because I don't think I watched Quantum Leap until like 94 or 95 when my family had cable. We had cable like 3 separate times during the 90s. And I think I started watching Quantum Leap around 94 or 95. It repeats on the USA Network. It came on directly after Wings, like late at night. I would always program the VCR to tape it overnight and watch it the next day. But anyway, Cheryl Pollack is apparently also in The Heights, which I never saw, but it was a short-lived TV series about a band called The Heights, who also lived in a place called The Heights, and it spawned a hit single, How Do You Talk to an Angel? Yeah, so she was a member of that fictitious band. She played the saxophone on the show, but I don't think she actually did so in real life. She was on like 4 different TV series that didn't like last a season or less, basically. There was Hull High, The Heights, Hotel Malibu, and Live Shot. None of them were successful. She was part of an ensemble cast each time, but she was a main character, and all of those series failed. So she had like the worst luck ever. But she also acted opposite Brad Pitt twice in 1 year in an episode of 21 Jump Street and also in some movie that he was in. So she was in a lot of stuff that you would think would make her more well-known than she actually is. But her last movie, her last work in acting was in 2002 in a movie where she had the co-lead role. She was like, I don't know, like an FBI agent investigating a serial killer or something like that. And that was the last thing that she ever acted in. Now, her Wikipedia article doesn't list her as a former actress, it just lists her as an actress. Presuming, she's still active, but she hasn't done anything. She did like editing or directing or producing work like 10 years later, like around 2012, a little bit, and then nothing after that either. So that's one of the great mysteries. She doesn't even contribute anything in the special features for this movie either, as far as I can tell. It's got an audio commentary with director Jimmy Huston and film historian Nathaniel Thompson, interviews, a most alternative lifestyle conversation with writer and associate producer Tab Murphy and production executive Ken Aguada, gapping with Grimsdyke, an interview with actor Paul Wilson, theatrical trailer, teaser trailer, and still gallery. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why she didn't contribute anything to this. This is a horror comedy, and apparently it's rated only PG. But, so, I don't know. I expect a good time. It's like 89 minutes long. So, yeah, I look forward to watching this. Anyway, so now on to The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is a movie that apparently had been in production, or at least pre-production, for a long time, maybe since the 90s even, or at least the 2000s. So it is based on a very specific section of one chapter in the novel Dracula. It's about how Dracula is put on board a ship from Bulgaria to England, and that's how he gets to England. And in the novel, a newspaper correspondent is able to get the captain's log from the ship, because when the ship arrives in the port in Whitby, England, I don't think anyone else is on board except the captain, who is tied to the steering wheel, and he's dead. They get a hold of the captain's log, as well as a small roll of paper inside a bottle that he kept, like in his jacket or something. That part of is omitted from the movie. So here's the thing: in the novel, the crew is Russian, I think, almost entirely Russian, because it's a Russian ship, the Demeter, which is named after a Greek goddess. I believe the captain wrote that his first mate is Romanian, but other than that, I assume everyone's Russian. The captain mentions like 9 crew. That's 5 hands, a cook, the first mate and a second mate, and him, the captain. He mentions the names of like 3 or 4 of the hands. I don't think he even mentioned his mates' names or like his own name. And I don't believe he even mentions the cook after just mentioning the fact that he exists. So most of the log of the Demeter consists of fairly short entries, but he gets the sense after a while that the crew believes there's something on board, but they're not like sharing all the information. And one by one, the crew members disappear. And eventually, the captain himself comes face to face with it, which is Dracula. He ties himself to a steering wheel, clutching a rosary, and obviously he dies as well, eventually. He's estimated to have been dead for like at least 2 days before the ship arrives in port. So in the movie, I read that portrait of Dracula before going to see the movie, because I wanted to kind of refresh my mind because I hadn't read Dracula since the late 90s. So I thought, as I was reading this, I was thinking, how are they going to adapt this into a feature-length movie? Well, basically, they changed some stuff. I don't know if any of the character names in the movies matches those given in the novel. I would say probably not. Now, one major thing that they changed is that the crew mostly was English. And the captain's log was written in English. Whereas in the novel, the newspaper correspondent that got a hold of it had to have it translated by someone from the Russian consulate or something like that. The movie added a grandson for the captain, and to have like a little kid in there. And the idea that this was going to be Captain's last voyage, that he was going to settle down in Ireland with his grandson. They in the book it said that he had served with this crew a long time, whereas in the movie there are a few crew members short, so they recruit 3 new crew members in like Bulgaria before heading out. I think it was Bulgaria. I'm not sure, but anyway, they also find a girl named Anna on board after a few days. Apparently, Dracula had brought her on board to feed on her, and she was from Transylvania, I guess. Obviously, she's not from the book either. They also have some of the crew members blatantly turn into vampires and burn to death in the sunlight. That never happened in the book. Crew members disappear, but the captain's unaware of precisely what happened to them. So they added a bunch of stuff to, like, I guess, make things more interesting. They one of the new hires for the crew specializes in astronomy, and also he's a doctor. And when he finds the girl, he gives her blood transfusions, which is a nod to like the novel where the guys were giving Lucy blood transfusions. So also there was like an air of foreboding and warning before they leave port in the movie, whereas there was nothing out of the ordinary until quite a while into their voyage in the novel. So yeah. Now it was an okay movie overall. Everyone died. The captain, while he was tied to a steering wheel at one point, I think what the doctor crew member unties him, and so the captain dies near the steering wheel, but he doesn't have his hands tied to it, and the doctor's the one that places the rosary in the captain's hand. So it's not quite like his body was found in the novel. Also, the doctor and the girl make it off the ship, but the girl turns into a vampire and burns up in the sunlight. The doctor eventually makes it to land in England. But the official newspaper account is that there were no survivors aboard the ship. So I guess he never told anyone. Even though the captain told him to tell people that he stayed true to his charge until the end. The doctor comes face to face with Dracula in a pub, and he vows to hunt down Dracula. He knows that Dracula is going to be at Carfax Abbey. So it sounds like they're setting something up, like this guy against Dracula. But I don't see what the point of that was, because, obviously, according to the novel, this guy has nothing to do with the defeat of Dracula. So I'm not sure what the point of that was, but overall, it was a fun movie with some scares, and they touted that they used practical effects for Dracula, so that's neat. Um, it's an okay movie. Go and see it. Sure, it's nothing like outstanding, but I was glad to see it. Um, and I think that's about it. 7:28 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.